Assalamu alaikum friends. This is Sami from Civil Engineers and today I'm gonna talk about for 12 technical terms about reinforcement. And these are very important, these 12 technical terms, and this topic is especially for site supervisor because it's about reinforcement. Every civil engineer should be learn these points, but it's especially for site supervisor. So if you want to learn something new, so you must watch this video from start to end, then you are able to learn about 12 technical terms for reinforcement. Let's start. If this video is helpful for you, so must like and subscribe this channel for more civil engineering updates. So the first one is in 12 technical terms, that's about concrete cover for reinforcement. First of all, I will tell you what's concrete cover. So concrete cover is also called clear cover for reinforcement, and it is the distance between steel surface and nearest outer surface of concrete structure. So you can see this is column, RCC column, right? It's the section. These are longitudinal bars, you can see. This is the other. Now this is called concrete cover, right? Let me focus the camera. This is called concrete cover. It's called concrete cover or clear cover for reinforcement. You can see I've already discussed that it is the distance between steel surface and nearest outer surface of concrete structure. So this is steel because these are longitudinal bars, and the distance between steel and nearest outer surface of concrete structure. So this is concrete cover. Now we have concrete cover for different RCC members. So for pile you can use 75 millimeter, and for pile cap, for pile it's 75 millimeter, for pile cap it should be 75 millimeter. Now we have column footing. So for the column footing it's also 75 millimeters, and column below the ground, if the column is under the ground, especially we can say in basement, so it should be column below the ground. For the column it should be 65 millimeter, and column above the ground means without the basement it should be 40 millimeter, but in the ground it should be below the ground it should be 65 millimeter. Now we have a shear wall below the ground, it should be 65 millimeter. For shear wall above the ground, so that's 40 millimeter. Now you can see beam below the ground means if we use the beam underground, for underground or in the basement, so it should be 65 millimeter, and for beam above ground it should be 40 millimeter, and for slab below ground, if the slab design for the basement, so it should be 50 millimeter clear cover or concrete cover, and slab above the ground it should be 20 millimeter, 20 to 25 you can use it, and for staircase it should be also 20 millimeter. So this is the first term. This video is long, but if you want to learn something new, so you must watch this video from start to end. So this is the first one, right? It should be remember every site engineer and also site supervisor, but every civil engineer should be learn these points, right? Now we have the second one for unit weight of steel. So what's the unit weight of steel? So I've already discussed many times that we can find unit weight of steel with the help of weight is equal d square divided by 162, where d is dia of steel in millimeter. It should be dia should be in millimeter, right? The dia should be in millimeter. So you can use this formula. So site supervisor should be know the unit weight of steel. We have the given weight of steel for a different diameter of steel. So if you have 8 millimeter dia of steel, so its weight is 0.12 kg per feet, right? But it's in feet, and it will give us in kg. This formula can give us in kg per meter, this formula, right? So when it gave you weight of steel in kg per meter, you can also divide it by 3.28. That's why, because in 1 meter we have 3.28 feet, right? Now for 8 millimeter the weight of steel is 0.12 kg per feet, and for 10 millimeter 0.19 kg per feet, for 12 millimeter 0.27 kg per feet, for 16 millimeter 0.48 kg per feet, and for 20 millimeter, it's 0.75 kg per feet, and for 25 millimeter, it's 1.25 kg per feet. And you can use also this formula if you want to find the weight of steel for 10 millimeter or for 12 millimeter. So you can use the formula weight of steel d square divided by 162. So now you can also multiply with running length for steel, but this formula can give us weight of steel for 1 meter in kg per meter, right? So with the d square should be 12 square, right, divided by 162, and it can give us weight of steel. This is formula, right? Now we have the third one. You can see lap length in compression zone. In compression zone means in column lap length, and in tension we can say for beam, but in compression it's for column, right? So what should be the lapping length? We can say it's called lapping length. This is lapping length. Let me focus the camera, sorry for this. And this is beam, so what should be for the beam, right? So beam and tension in column in compression. You can see here lap length in compression zone. Steel should be lapping for compression zone with 50D, where D is dia of steel bar. And lapping length, now the third one, the fourth one is lapping length for tension. So steel should be lapping for the tension zone, means for the beam we can take 40D, where D is dia of steel bar. Now here the fifth one we have lap should not be no lapping, means don't provide the lapping length. Our lap length should not be provide larger than 36 dia of steel, 36 millimeter dia of steel. Means if the dia of steel is more than 36 millimeter, there we have to not provide the lapping length, but you can weld it, right? But don't provide more than or for 36 millimeter dia of steel. Lapping length should be not provided, right? Now we have the sixth one. Sorry, the sixth one we have also this one. Now the sixth one we have require binding wire. Sorry for spelling mistake. Binding wire. So for binding 1 ton of MS mild steel, 7 kg to 13 kg binding wire is required. Mean for 1 ton MS mild steel which we are using in normal construction works, so we required from 7 kg to 13 kg for 1 ton steel bar. Binding wire are required 7 to 13 kg for 1 ton, right? Now we have the seventh one, standard length of mild steel. Means in company they send us standard length of steel, that's 12 meter or 40 feet, right? So mild steel standard length is 40 feet or 12 meter. They send from company. So now the eighth one, that's about minimum longitudinal bar in a column. Use minimum 4 numbers of steel in square column. Means for square column or for rectangular column, use minimum 4 numbers of steel bars. Minimum, okay, we should use 4 numbers of steel bars, but minimum should be 4 numbers of steel bar, but you can use maximum, right? But it should not be less than 4 numbers of steel bars in square column. But in circular column, minimum numbers of steel bars should be 6 numbers, 1 2 3 4 5 6. It should be not less than in circular column 6 numbers, right? Now placing first stirrup. Stirrup, you can see this is column RCC column, and this is called stirrup, right? It's called stirrup. So place first stirrup. this one, this is first stirrup. You can see this is this is beam, and the first stirrup should be placed with spacing of 2 inches, and after that you can take your design space, for example 5 inches, if there's 6 inches or 8 inches, it's depend on your structure, but the first stirrup spacing should be 2 inches. It should be fixed, the first one, with 2 inches, right? This is very important, and they can ask from you in interview many times. They can ask from you this, that what's the spacing of first stirrup in beam. Okay, so you can say it's 2 inches. It should be placed with 2 inches. Now the 10th one, hook's angle of stirrup. The 10th technical term is, so stirrup's hook angle is 135 degree. How? You can see here, this is beam section, and this you can see this is stirrup. This is one steel bar, second, third and fourth. So this is hook. Okay, you can see this is a diagram for hook. So it should be with 135 degree. It should be 135 degree, or the hook should be bent with 135 degree, right? Stirrup's hook angle is 135 degree. It should be not more than 135 or less than 135 degree. Now we have the 11th one, that's about bend for vertical bar of column. So look at this. This is column longitudinal bar, and this is bend. This is also bend. So we are talking about this length, or for this one, what should be this length? Okay, so here remember that vertical column bars are called longitudinal bars. These are called longitudinal bars, and bend is provided at one end. This is below. Okay, this is one end, right? That one end of longitudinal bar with the angle of 90 degrees. So you can see this is 90 degree, and then length should be not less than 18 inches. So it should be 18 inches. It should not be less than 18 inches. Okay, or you can also use the formula for this, which is 16D. You can also use the formula to find the length of this bend and column for longitudinal bar. Remember this point. Now guys, the last one is 12 one, that's end hook for longitudinal bar of beam, right? So the column end hook angle should be with 90 degree. You can see this is for example this is beam, so it should be with 90 degree, or you can also take like this, it should be with 90 degree. Okay, this one or this one. So this is a video which I've discussed the front of you 12 technical terms about reinforcement. So you can also make a screenshot from this, right? This is the first one, and now this one is the second one. You can make a screenshot if you need these notes, right? So see you in next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.